Three, two, one.
Oh, well,
Boom.
hello to everybody out there in Facebook land. My name is Judah Hooper. This guy sitting right beside me here, actually in Florida, is Josh Wyken. And then over there on the other side, we have Hoan. And gosh, I got to tell you, producers talk about like a get, you know what I mean? Who would be like a great person to have on their show if they're responsible for posting content. I feel like Hoan is a pretty big get for us, and I'm really excited that we've got him and bringing him here to our audience today.
Well, so all right, before we bring you in, and just have you tell us about yourself. I would just want to say that I've been a big fan of your Facebook page for a long time. I've been following you. I love your positive attitude. I love your message of, hey, look, you got to get out there and hustle, get out there and work, like do something. If you don't like where you're at, get out there and get to work. Thanks for being on the show. It's a real pleasure. Let me start by just asking you to kind of introduce yourself.
Stop, Josh. Amateur hour, Josh. We didn't even finish introducing the show yet.
Well, come on.
This is the Build and Grow with Real Estate show. It's a place where you can learn about how to be a real estate investor or make money indirectly from the real estate investing space. So there's a lot of people out there who are realtors or lenders or property appraisers or contractors and things like that who make money from real estate. There's also a whole bunch of real estate investors. Josh and I and the guests that we have on from time to time think that the real estate space is a great way to not only provide for your family on the day-to-day basis, but also build a business and build wealth and build a career. And that's what this show is dedicated to. That's why we call it the Build and Grow with Real Estate show. So
I get a lot. I love your coffee cup. Your coffee cup's awesome. Employee of the month, runner up.
Almost got it.
Just got to work a little bit harder next month. That's the lesson. Work a little bit harder next month.
So, how the heck did you get involved in real estate? I understand you were an engineer.
I was an engineer, and my brain still works as an engineer, but I got into real estate investing because of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And the book, of course, like everybody says, it just makes so much sense. You have assets, pays for your liabilities, that whole bit. Every one of your viewers knows this already. This is why they're interested in real estate. The one little thing that I say that's very different than everybody else is that I don't like real estate. And it seems like nobody's like bold enough to say that. It's like, guys, just be truthful. If you don't like it, you don't like it, and it's okay. And I don't necessarily like real estate. I do real estate because it makes a lot of sense. It's easy to leverage money. It's easy to leverage other people's time. And then this way, when you have other people doing the work for you and adding value to the project, then you get your time back to go do whatever it is that you want to do.
Yeah.
So I choose real estate because of that. Not because I'm passionate. Yeah.
Love it. Okay.
Tell us. Hold on, stop. Let's even back up a little bit more. So, Hoan, give us the 45-second commercial on who the heck are you? Because you've got a lot of things going on. You're putting a lot of positive vibes out there into the universe. Who is Hoan?
I am a son. I am a brother. I am a husband. Right. I am a snowboarder. I am a dirt bike rider. I am a mountain bike rider. I ride quads. I do all the fun things in the world. And then for money, I make money from real estate, from lending, and from life insurance, as well as real estate education. I teach people how to become real estate investors as well. But I say all of that stuff first because a lot of people go, hey, what do you do? And it's like, well, what day of the week? Like, it's like, and I want to highlight that you got to focus on having that life, right? Having that life, because why do we do this? Why do we make all the money? Why did you guys aim to become multimillionaires? Because it's like, we wanted to have this great life. But then if we lose track of what we're actually after, we get stuck in this weird zone where you're only making money for money's sake. And you forgot.
Or you burn out. Like, I love my kids. I have 4 kids. I love skydiving. I love what I'm able to do with my church. Like, those are all things that are very passionate to me. And I love doing real estate for long, hard hours a day, long, hard week, for many days of the week. And then when I go and jump out of planes on a Saturday morning I'm not thinking about my work. I'm not thinking about it. I don't have to worry about it. And it doesn't become this stress induced thing. So people always talk about work-life balance. I like to think of it as work-life integration. You know what I mean? Like I can get up and leave at any time during the day to go do personal stuff. And I can also take a work call on Sunday afternoon and not really worry about it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's all those things. So I love that you lead with all of your hobbies and all of your passions and, you know, being a son and a brother and a husband too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. All right. So let's circle this back to real estate. You don't like real estate. You like the attributes that you can outsource all of the pieces.
Yes.
And make money from it.
Yes.
What did you look at? Okay. So you read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
This is the catalyst that gets you start looking at different things, and real estate ends up being that vehicle. But what were some of the other vehicles that you looked at when you were considering, you know, hey, look, I got to start living my life. I got to look at some options to produce income passively so that I can spend my time doing things that I really want to do. What were some of the other things you looked at?
Well, let's rewind. So the very first day at corporate America, when I got hired and I'm in the HR office and they're like booking me and doing all the stuff that they do, right? I don't know why I did this, but I look at the HR lady and I go, I'm not going to be here for long. I'm going to create some business and I am going to be out of here. And she's a 9-to-5 employee. She doesn't care. So she doesn't care that I say this to her. All right, well, whatever. Go do your job now. and I say this because I knew that this long-term isn't where I want it to be. This is the plan that everybody tells you to go on. Like, this is the plan that is set for you when you're born. Go to school, get a job, die. And when I got there, I just like, man, this is not where I want to be. And then I look at my bosses, and my bosses, I tell this story a lot. My boss used to threaten me, and I was like, oh, this is not the right place, right? They would threaten me. They would say, Hoan, if you work really, really hard, one day you will have this job. And I was like, They would threaten me with that. And so I every time I looked at them and I would ask myself, do I want that job? The answer was always no. The answer was always no. I knew that business would be the way out. I knew business would be the way out. I just didn't know what business. So I tried everything, right? I created t-shirts and, you know, whatever, like just for fun. And it was like, this isn't working. And then when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I learned about how a real estate property can pay your life, and it has a system where you don't actually constantly have to sell, where you don't have to constantly work on it. I was just like, this makes so much sense. So engineer, just like figure out how to create the vehicle to get where you want to go.
All the problem.
Like, that was it. That was like, all right, real estate, that's the vehicle. Done. Makes sense.
So how long would you say you've been on this real estate track?
I bought my first property in 2011.
Oh, okay.
So 9 years so far. And then, but I read Rich Dad Poor Dad in 2009. So it took me 2 years to actually learn how to go from this theoretical concept of owning properties that produce passive income to actually buying my first deal.
Well, so let me ask you something on that note, okay? I have met people who they have this eureka moment like you did. And they're just like, that's it. And 6 months later or a year later, they have like 25 units, right? And that blows me away because I'm pretty extreme and pretty fanatical when it comes to like, all right, let's run after this thing.
Yeah.
But 25 units in 1 year, that's a lot of units. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of learning curve stuff that goes along with that. During that 2 year period between when you made that realization that you're like, all right, let's move forward with this, and the time that you bought your first property, what happened there? What did you do? What were some of the steps that you took? Was it a learning situation, or was it just a comfort level and get some cash together?
So it's two things, two clear things. So I tried to do it on my own as a house buyer. So you think you're going to go to the bank and put a down payment and the whole bit. Yeah. And so as an engineer, I'm real analytical, and I'm looking at the situation. And I'm like, okay, if I buy this property, it's $200,000 down. A commercial loan typically requires a 30% down payment. Yep. So that's a $60,000 down payment before points and closing costs and everything else. So $60,000 down. The property that I was looking at was a triplex, and the triplex had 3 units, let's say $1,000 each. And the cash flow from that, after you pay your mortgage, after you pay utilities, taxes, insurance, vacancy management, and maintenance, after you pay all the expenses, the remaining cash flow, when reapplied to the down payment that I put down, would take about 8 years to break even. And I said, that
it's not bad.
Work.
Oh, it
Yeah.
doesn't. Oh, okay. All right.
But that didn't work for me. That didn't work for me because I was like, okay, so what you're telling me is I buy one property this year, 2009, and then 8 years later I get to buy another one.
Right.
Something doesn't make sense.
Okay.
And then I also went with a real estate agent, and he showed me a bunch of properties. I did this trick. Hey, I'm a real estate investor now, and I want you to send me all of your good deals. Okay, so two problems.
And they sent you all their good deals, and you were like, oh wow, this is great, or it didn't work out.
No competition, no nothing, right?
Exactly. So two problems, right? Number one, he's a real estate agent. He doesn't know what a good deal is.
Right.
Problem number two, I don't know what a good deal is.
Right. The blind leading the blind, right?
Exactly, right? So we go see properties, and every property we see after we leave the building, he says, "This looks great. You should buy this one."
Yeah.
And it was like every single one, and I was like, you know what? I've never invested in real estate before, but I don't think this is how this works.
Right.
I don't think I'm this lucky.
Right.
So I have some logic around how the industry works and all that kind of stuff. So, I pump the brakes. And then I go to a couple of different seminars, and I go to like the Rich Dad one. Hey, coming to a city near you. We're going to host these free, whatever, right? And I go and I learn a little bit, but they don't teach me A to Z. Like I don't get that full process. And when I don't have enough of the steps, like from A to Z, how it actually works, I freeze, just like a lot of other people.
Yeah.
I tell people it's knowledge, confidence, action, results. Knowledge, confidence, action, results.
Yeah.
I didn't have the knowledge, which meant that I didn't have the confidence, which means I'm not taking the action, which means no results.
Right.
I go to these seminars that they just kind of dribble information to you, but they don't give you enough, right? And so I have this quasi information, which then I don't take action, right? It wasn't until I went to a seminar that taught me A to Z, and it gave me the step to step, like, if you're trying to buy a property, this is how you analyze it. You analyze it like this, and then this is how the funding comes about, and then this is how you rehab it, and this is how you use hard money, and this is how you use other people's money and lines of credit and credit cards and how to do a subject to lease options, all that kind of stuff, right? And it broke it down, and then it's like, when you're done, this is how you refinance, and then this is the cash flow and all that. And I was like, okay. And so I'm cranking away. I built like 85 different Excel spreadsheets. I'm like, okay. That's when I had that mastery is when I got the confidence. And then the person who taught the seminar, it was a private little seminar. And then the guy was like, hey, do you want to buy this property? I took the property. I analyzed it. And I analyzed it to the point where it's like, how can I lose money on this? How can I lose money? So I could potentially lose money if I underestimate the rehab, I overestimate the ARV, or the cash flow doesn't come in the way I need it to.
Yeah.
And then so I tried to break the deal. I would lower the cash flow. I would lower the rents. I would lower the ARVs. I would increase the rehab. And I kept doing this, right? And I kept tweaking the dials. And I saw how wrong I needed to be in order for the deal to explode. Right. And I was like, wow, I need to be pretty far off for this to explode. So really, I got nothing to worry about, because even if I break even, I still own a property. I still have principal pay down. I still have potential appreciation over time, and I still have the tax benefits.
Yep.
So other than my fears, there's nothing to stop me. Like, let's go. So I remember I looked at the paper and I was like, there is the line that I need to sign for the loan. And once I sign my name on that line, I am liable for all of that money.
Right.
Go. And sometimes you just gotta. So I have this philosophy. I say it's fire, aim, ready. So sign that thing. I've already done the work. There's nothing else to do. I've already analyzed it to death. I ran it through all of my spreadsheets, like all of them, and it passed. So what else is there other than fire? And then once you're in it, once you own the property, once your rehab started, then you aim, and then once it's all done, you're ready for the big leagues. I don't know. So fire, aim, ready.
I have two takeaways there that I just kind of want to underline for some of our listeners. So I did. There was a time in my life when I helped people put together larger apartment complexes. I was syndicating deals back in the early 2000s before it was popular.
Wow.
And I did a deal in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where it was 342 units. And one of the things that we did is we looked at that and we said, okay, where's our break even? we were underwriting the deal that we would be between 90 and 95% occupied, and we were going to try and get it to 97% economic occupancy and things like that. But we knew that as long as we were 75% occupied, we weren't going to be losing money. And I said that to a real estate investor friend of mine, who, by the way, Josh, we got to have my buddy Ray Althorn on this show. He's from Blacksburg, Virginia. And Ray's a Southern boy, and Ray says a three-legged dog will hunt. So as long as you're at 75% occupancy and breaking even, I would say the same thing. So that works for large apartment complexes. If you're looking at a 2 or a 3 unit building and you're projecting like $1,000 a month in rent, dear listeners, just ask yourself, what if I'm wrong on that? If my gauge on the marketplace is wrong, if my realtor's lying to me, how much in rent do I need to break even? Oh, I need not $1,000. I need $850 a month to break even here. Yeah. If I look at this property, maybe I think $1,000 is a bit of a stretch, but does $850 resonate in my gut? Do I believe that I can at least do that? Yeah. And I think that that's the step that a lot of people miss, is they don't try to talk themselves out of a deal and try to break a deal. And if it's still a deal, then go ahead and do it.
Exactly.
Well, so I had lunch. I mean, this is years ago at this point, with a couple of Philly investors. One of it was Josh Rhodes, and I know you know Josh, right? So Josh has this saying that he introduced me to. It blew my mind. He's like, when I look at a property, I don't think, oh man, how much can I make? The question I ask is, what's this going to cost me, or what could this cost me? If everything goes wrong, and if the answer is still not so bad, why the heck wouldn't you take it? Like, why not move forward? And like, that's a really important way to look at things. So,
Right. There's so many opportunity costs that are missed out and lost because of fears, because of what society might say, what your parents might think of you, all these kind of things. It's like, all right, well, you can live in that fear for your whole entire life. And if you do, you already know what you're going to get. It's the life you have today.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a real change, or you're looking for something different to happen in your life, then you have to take these steps. You have to put yourself out there. And that risk, don't look at it like, oh, this might like really hurt me, bankrupt me, this and that. Of course, do your analysis. Make sure it's a good deal from your analysis. But beyond that, it's out of your control. But do it just so that you change as a person. Yeah. You as the driver need to become a better driver. You have to be able to know how to steer through life, because things are going to be thrown at you, whether you're ready or not.
Right.
Life is that.
Right. You get ready, and that's the aim part. Is you learn by doing the deal.
Yeah.
I always say that you can't learn to swim from reading a book.
Right.
You've got to get in the water. And exactly. That is the best way to actually learn. And when you talk to people who are a little bit older in life, I've always, through church and through civic organizations, I've always had a tremendous respect for the elderly. And when you talk to anybody with gray hair, and they kind of start talking about regrets in their life, they'll tell you one of two things. They either didn't bet the farm often enough, or they bet the farm too often. and I think that is, I just watched The Greatest Showman last night, and that guy's tragedy in his life is he was always betting the farm. Well, eventually that comes back to bite you. But if you're not willing to at least at some point, put your money where your mouth is, put it on the line, like you said, look at that line and sign that line. You can't take no risks, but you also can take too many risks, and you've got to kind of find that balance. I have a question here for you, Hoan. So you're an engineer. Mm-hmm. You tell HR, by the way, I'm just a member of the visiting team.
I'm just visiting. Yep.
I'm not here for long. And your bosses threaten you with bigger and better jobs, and that scares the bejesus out of you.
Yes.
So you we do what we call take the little blue pill, or take the purple pill. Purple pill. Take the purple pill, and you get out of that and you start doing real estate. But at some point in your career, what I respect about you is you're a full-time real estate investor, a full-time content creator, full-time lender, full-time life insurance salesman.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people who their goal is, I want to invest in real estate so I could be lazy. You're like working so hard, and I respect the hustle. You're really Gary Vaynerchuk in this.
Yeah.
So at what point did you get back into lending, and why lending? Was it just that you were looking for something connected to real estate, or talk to me a little bit about that?
So really, I allow life to take me on the journey. So I invested in real estate for my selfish purposes of like, I want to make more money to afford my lifestyle and to have the freedom to have that lifestyle. So I just do it for that fact. And then people started asking me about real estate investing. So then I started teaching people how to become a real estate investor. So then that part gets added on to my business or my way of making money. Right. And then the people that I'm teaching are like, okay, Hoan, I understand how to analyze properties. I know how to look at them, all that stuff. Right. But how do I get the money? All right. So then I'm like, okay, well, this is how you get the money. And then eventually I start brokering and doing things like that. And I'm getting people money. So the business built itself. And then with the life insurance thing, I met a guy named MC Lopshire. He runs the Cashflow Ninja podcast. And he actually produces life insurance policies for real estate investors. And so I'm talking to him. He's a real estate investor. All of his employees are real estate investors. And then I'm like, okay, these policies are not just life insurance policies where if you die, then your kids get paid or whatever. It's not like that. This is a policy that builds value, which you can then use to go buy more real estate. And so I learned about that. And I was just like, okay, well, I already have students who follow me. I already have lending clients. If I have this just stacks on top of everything else.
Yeah.
And it's not a transition. It's not a full-time hustle because it's in line with what I'm already doing day to day anyway.
Right.
So let me piggyback on that. I was telling you this morning that my 6-year-old has a handful of famous YouTubers that they follow, and you're going to be like the next famous YouTuber. So I can be like, yo, I know a famous YouTuber.
Right.
Tell us about that adventure and like what you're doing with that.
So I have decided to create a YouTube channel where I'm going to be teaching people how to create businesses and invest in real estate and improve their financial situation. And I think it's important because a lot of people are struggling, and I have this ability, and it's not an ability that, like, let's say I looked for and I built up. I want to say I was born with it, right? It's this ability to just connect with people where they are and help them get to that next level. And I've been doing it for years and years. And I've been testing with all of my students. I've been testing on Facebook. I've been testing with videos, and you guys, this is how you found me, just from the content I've been putting out. Yep. And I didn't do it because I was like, one day I'm going to make a YouTube channel. I'm going to get paid for that. This is something that's just innate in me. This is like what life is drawing me to. And so I've decided that I'm going to create a YouTube channel, and I'm going to take it seriously. So I've been studying other YouTube channels, how they're built, what keeps people engaged, how they speak. And I'm going to cultivate these videos where I teach people how to become real estate investors and be financially free, but at the same time, make it in a way that people can really relate to it and feel like they can do it. What people often lack in their life, really, if you boil it down, is hope. A lot of people are hopeless. They work these jobs, they pay these bills, and they're just like, is this it for my life? And like you can see it in their demeanor, just defeated. So I figure that me creating content for people like this will drastically improve their life. And if their lives can be changed from these videos, then this whole world is improved, including my local world with all of the people that I interact with. If everybody is financially stable, then all of a sudden we can all go out and have fun. But if I'm hanging out with you guys and you guys are having financial problems, and then you're having marital problems because of the financial problems and all of this, and your life sucks, we're not having a good time. It doesn't matter what bar and how many drinks you're having. Like, it's probably going to be worse when you have too many drinks. So I'm creating this YouTube channel just to help more people because I think it's important. Yeah. But it's not something that I hear people all the time. Oh, I want to create a YouTube channel. And it's like, okay, why? Because I want to make all kinds of money. And it's like the wrong reason. Right. You got to do it for the right reason. And you also have to lean on your skills. Like, if you suck in front of the camera, it doesn't matter that you want to create a YouTube channel. You suck. Right.
So this is so interesting that you say this, Hoan, because so I teach people a very similar thing, that you've got to be a country music star who shows up at honky tonk bars,
Yes.
honky tonks and bars, and plays small little gigs night in and night out because you love the music.
Yes.
Because you love making the music, because you love those one or two people in the audience that you connect with.
Yes.
And if you at some point get a call from Columbia Records and they want to sign you to a record deal, hey, that's great. But
Right.
you've got to love making music first and foremost. I ran a real estate investors club in Harrisburg. That's how I got started teaching people. And that's why when that shut down, that's why Josh and I started doing this show. Because
Fantastic.
I love taking people to the next level for their real estate investing thing. I will probably never be a YouTube gazillionaire, but hey, who knows? Maybe that will happen, maybe it won't. But you're exactly right. You've got to say, what I want to do is contribute to other people. What I want to do is help other people. When you do real estate investing, the other thing, because people are looking for hope, right? So people say, I want to have all my bills paid off, and I want to watch Netflix whenever I want, and I want to go sit on the couch, or I want to go sit on the beach. Well, that's all laziness. Like, people misalign their goals with their action because then their subconscious mind says, oh, that's all right, Judah, you can go ahead and be lazy right now. All you're looking to build is an empire to give you laziness. I'm just going to short circuit this for you. Your subconscious mind solves that problem and says, just go ahead. I'm going to give you permission to be lazy right now. Where what you need to actually take action are meaningful goals and meaningfully pouring into people's lives and meaningfully making a difference. That's what you will need to do to break out of that laziness and actually take meaningful action.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I got preaching there. I apologize.
No, and preaching's good. Preaching's good. That means you have it in your heart. You're only able to preach because that's how you genuinely feel.
Yeah, so I love that you come from the same place. I'm starting a YouTube channel, not because I want to be a YouTube gazillionaire, but you're starting a YouTube channel, not for what it's going to do for you, but for who you're going to be able to help. And that's where all that comes out of my heart, that last 5-minute rant, because that's exactly how I feel. And I just support you in that, and I affirm you in that. And I just think that's awesome, man.
Well, thank you, Judith. I will say that I will become a YouTube gazillionaire.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong, right?
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. And for listeners, I want them to have this huge mind shift that if you help enough people, you will get rich. Right. And it's okay to get rich by helping people. There is nothing wrong with it. Right?
Oh my God.
So.
It's so funny you say that. So, all right, I was watching I was watching an interview with a billionaire, and it's not somebody I'm familiar with, but they asked him, like, how do you become a billionaire? He's like, it's really easy. All you have to do is help 1 billion people, and they'll happily pay you $1. Like, that's all you have to do. Help 1 billion people. The more people you help, the more money it attracts to you. And like, at the end of the day, yeah, there are some scumbags out there. There are some criminals. There are some people that go out and, take advantage of other people to make money. But the ones that do the best, the ones that consistently produce, they help so many people that change all of our lives. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I got to know Alex Grass. And he actually backed me for $5 million in my hard money business, and it's since passed away. He founded a company called Rite Aid, and at the time,
little company called Rite Aid.
Company called Rite Aid. Maybe you've heard of it. But he had a saying. He said, "Help the poor, you'll never want for more." And his whole philosophy with Rite Aid was, back then there was no CVS, or CVS wasn't. There wasn't drugstore chains. And there was mom and pop drugstores, and they wouldn't go into certain neighborhoods. And he came up with Rite Aid. I mean, think about it. Like, it was like a financial aid type thing. Like, it was the whole branding was that I'm going to go into neighborhoods that are underserved and underrepresented by drugstore companies. And he built that whole company was on helping people buy affordable drugs and medicine that don't otherwise have access to. Help the poor and you'll never want for more. That's not take advantage of the, and by the poor, he just meant like the average person.
Yeah.
You know, so just help enough average people get what they want and you can have everything you want. That's what Zig Ziglar said.
Exactly. I recently read a comment, and I've heard this a lot. They say that, oh, I thought about starting a YouTube channel as well, but it is saturated. Okay, so what does saturation mean for you then, right? I'm thinking to myself, it's like, what is this whole saturated? Oh, well, there's a bunch of people creating content like that. So do you think that you're not going to be watched? And it's like, yeah, that's probably the thing, right? They're not going to be watched. So who are you making the content for? Like, are you making it because you love it, or are you making it because you need to have these viewers in order to get monetized? And so if you're doing it for the wrong reason, then you're going to fail. What if you do it for that right reason?
Beyond that, though, you know the story of Gary Vaynerchuk, right? With his what is it?
Wine
library. Yeah, it was like a year and a half, every single day for a year and a half before he had any real viewers. I mean,
exactly.
You just got to put the time in, and now my gosh, the guy is he'll be a billionaire pretty soon.
Yeah, so it's not so here's the thing about this saturation that I hear about. It's not that the world is saturated. There's a lot of mediocre out there. So if you deliver high quality, then it will be consumed. There's a scarcity of high quality. And that's what you guys got to focus on, whoever is watching, right? If you're interested in creating a YouTube channel, then deliver high quality content. And when I say high quality, I don't mean just the analytical, right? It's not like, oh, well, this is how cost segregation works, and there's 5-year items and 15-year items, and you can depreciate them, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't just mean the technical. I mean, do you have the storytelling ability so that when you're conveying this message about this highly analytical topic, that they are actually engaged and go, oh, so that's what that means. So it's like, I would say, like, well, you see how you have a business and you sell 1,000 t-shirts, and let's say you made $50,000. Well, guess what? You're going to have to pay taxes on the $50,000. Do you want to pay taxes, or do you want a new truck? Well, you can buy a new truck because you can use Section 179 of the tax code to write off that truck as long as it's over 6,000 pounds. And so now your income is going to look like zero. So you get a new truck and you got to make $50,000 selling your t-shirts. Awesome. Storytelling, like, it's, can you craft it? And Kobe Bryant. So when Kobe Bryant died in the helicopter crash, there were interviews after interviews that I watched of him, and he talked about how he would go on the basketball court and dribble and shoot, and he would shoot 1,000 times before he went home. Right? Okay. What is the equivalent of shooting 1,000 baskets in YouTube creation world? Right? What is that? And whatever that is, do that. People see these well-crafted YouTube channels already, and they're like, okay, I want to do that. But they think, oh, I'm just going to record myself. And just because you record yourself, right, hey, I'm Hoan, and I'm, blah, 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 it doesn't mean that people are going to watch that. You still have to be good at it. So learn how to tell a story. Learn how to do public speaking. Learn how to speak without saying ums. Learn all of these little tricks that actually allow you to create good content, and then people will watch that. So again, high quality is always in demand. It's not saturated. There's just a bunch of mediocre information out there that's causing a lot of noise. So
okay, so on that point, this is a good segue. How do people get in touch with your high level of content on YouTube to make you a YouTube gazillionaire, and so I can tell my son that I know a famous YouTuber?
All right, so I am erasing all the other channels. I'm starting brand new. So if you guys go to hoanzone.com, HOANZONE, hoanzone.com/YouTube, you can find my channel. So you'll land there, and I'm building this channel out, again, to help people improve their financial situation so that they can live a better life and just be happier overall. So it's being built. So if you guys want to go there and subscribe early, you will be updated with the newest content as soon as it comes out.
What I love is I really like your header, your YouTube header. That is one thing. I always screw them up. I outsource it. I have 50 different things, and I'm never happy with it. I like yours. It looks great. I like your logo too. So check it out at hoanzone.com/YouTube. Any parting words here?
The world is so vast that you don't have to get stuck doing things you hate. So if there's something that you're doing that you hate it, then figure out a way to do things that you like, because there are just so many opportunities, so many choices, so many ways to make money that you don't have to pigeonhole yourself to this one task that you absolutely dread. Life is too short for that, and there's so many options to make money. So
Awesome. Listen, we are going to call it a wraps right there. Josh, are you still with us, or do you want me to go ahead and sign off? Oh, well, we lost Josh and his.
See ya, Josh.
Yeah, absolutely. See you, Josh. I guess he's going here. I am going to play us out. Hoan, it was great. Be sure to like and share Build and Grow with Real Estate, and check back often for more high quality content. See you,
There
everybody.
it is. All right, guys. See you.